Damien started watching The Walking Dead, a TV show about zombies. In the first episode, there was a count of 5 zombies on the first day. If the zombies increased by a rate of 75% per day, write an equation that represents the function f of x, where x represents the number of days. So this is what they're asking us to do. This is our question right over here. To state an equation that represents the function f of x, where x represents the number of days. So looking at this problem, we're going to underline some important information. We know on the first day there was a count of 5 zombies. So we know we started with 5 zombies. And the zombies increased by a rate of 75% per day. So that means that we're dealing with something that's growing. So since it's increasing by a percent, we know that we're dealing with exponential growth. And what exponential growth is, if you remember the formula from yesterday, y equals a times 1 plus r to the t power. Now let's break what that means again. A stands for your initial amount, the amount you start with. R represents your rate as a decimal. And your t represents time. So breaking this down, what do we know? We know that we started with 5 zombies. That means our A is equal to 5. Our initial amount is 5. We know that the rate is 75%. But as you notice, the rate should be written as a decimal. So let's look at this over here. If the rate is 75% and we need it as a decimal, to turn a percent into a decimal, you divide it by 100. And if you're not too sure what that is, all you do is you move the decimal place 2 to the left, giving you 0.75. But if you're not too sure and you want to check on the calculator, you turn on your calculator, you hit 75, and then you divide that by 100. That will give you 0.75, which is also 0.75. So our rate as a decimal is 0.75. And our time is represented by, as we stated here, as x. So we're going to just plug that in. We're going to have y equals, our a is 5, times, we're going to keep plugging this in, 1 plus our rate, our r, is 0.75. And then we have our time, which is used as the variable to the x power. If I add that together, I'll get y, well, this is a function, so we should write the function of x is equal to 5 times 1 plus 0.75 is 1.75 to the x power. Now, the second question says, what would the zombie population be after 10 days? So, now we have our equation, or our function, so now we want to know what is the function when at 10 days. How many zombies will there be at 10 days? So now we're going to plug this into our function. 5 times 1.75 to the 10th power. Now, I don't expect anyone to know how to do 1.75 to the 10th power off the top of their head, so we just go to the calculator. And if you want, you could just put this whole thing in, just as it is, 5 times 1.75, use that little caret key, to the 10th power, and that gives us 1,346.94 So, I know that sometimes we're dealing with zombies, we can deal with half of zombies and parts of zombies, but we're just going to consider them one whole. We can round this to 1,346 zombies.